Okay, now listen. The other day I did something so bold, so risky, so completely out of character. I cooked a whole dinner without tasting it even once. Not a single little spoon. And honestly, I don't know what came over me. Back in my day, tasting the food was part of the cooking process. You stir, you taste, you add salt, you taste, you sneeze, you still taste. That's how you know what's happening in that pot. But this time, I said, Elvora, you're going to trust the process. And Hugh, that was a journey. So here's what happened. I was making my classic chicken vegetable stew, cozy, comforting. The kind of meal that makes your house smell like love and warm socks. You know what I mean. I chopped my onions, threw in garlic, little olive oil action. I gotta say, when garlic hits a hot pan, that smell alone makes me feel like a five-star chef. I was feeling confident. Then I added carrots, celery, potatoes. Seasoned it up, little salt, little pepper, a sprinkle of paprika because I was feeling fancy. Not gonna lie, I even added a tiny pinch of thyme like one of those cooking show people. Now normally, this is the moment I grab my spoon. But that day I said, nope, we are not tasting, we are trusting. I don't know why I decided this. Maybe I wanted to feel modern. Maybe I saw one of those online videos where people say, if you measure correctly, you don't need to taste. And I thought, oh really? Is that how we're living now? So I measured everything perfectly. Teaspoon, tablespoon, level, exact. I felt like I was in science class. Honestly, it felt weird. Because cooking, to me, isn't math. It's vibes. It's listening to the pot. It's that little whisper in your heart that says, needs more salt. But I stayed strong. The stew started simmering. That soft bubbling sound? Oh, honey, that's music. The kitchen smelled amazing. I was walking around feeling proud. Then a tiny voice in my head said, what if it's too salty? I ignored it. Another voice said, what if you forgot the salt? I ignored that too. Then I had a flashback. Back in my day, my mama would always say, taste before you serve. And I could almost see her looking at me like, girl, what are you doing? But no, I had made a commitment. No tasting. So I let it cook. I stirred. I admired it. I acted confident. But inside, I was nervous. You ever wait for exam results? That was me with this stew. Finally, it was done. I turned off the stove, grabbed my favorite bowl, ladled that stew in there. It looked beautiful. Steam rising, carrots glowing, potatoes soft and cozy. And this was the moment of truth. Because now I had two choices. Option 1, taste it quietly in the kitchen and fix it if needed. Option 2, serve it as is and face whatever happens. And honestly, I chose chaos. I sat down at the table with my bowl like it was a suspense movie. I took my spoon. I paused. I looked at the stew like it might look back at me. I said out loud, well, here we go. First bite. And listen, I chewed slowly. I waited. My eyebrows moved a little. Then I blinked. And then I laughed, because it was actually perfect. Perfect. The salt, just right. The pepper, balance. The vegetables, soft but not mushy. The chicken, tender. I sat there like, wait a minute, did I just cook without tasting and win? Honestly, I felt powerful. But here's the funny part. The second bite, also perfect. The third bite, still perfect. And suddenly I realized something. All those years of tasting, adjusting, learning, burning things, over-salting things, under-seasoning things, they built instincts inside me. Even without tasting, my hands remembered, and that made me smile. Because sometimes we think we need to double-check everything. We poke, we worry, we overthink. We stir the pot 20 times just to feel in control. But sometimes, you already know what you're doing. Not gonna lie, I still love tasting my food. I'm not giving that up. That's part of the fun. That's my quality control department right there. But that little experiment reminded me of something sweet. Trust yourself. If you've practiced something long enough, if you've learned, adjusted, grown, sometimes you can relax a little. Let the stew simmer. Let life simmer. Back in my day, we didn't have fancy food blogs or viral recipes telling us exact grams and ounces. We learn by doing, by tasting, by laughing when it didn't work. And honestly, that's still how life works. You try, you adjust, you mess up sometimes. And eventually you get so good at it, you don't even realize how skilled you've become. That stew taught me that. And I gotta say, it tasted even better knowing I trusted myself. Now don't get it twisted. I'm not out here making mystery soups every night. I still taste my food. I still double check. I'm still a grandma, not a magician. But that day, I proved to myself that all those little everyday habits add up. And I think that's beautiful. So if you're working on something, cooking, learning tech, starting something new, and you feel unsure, just remember, you've probably learned more than you think. Your hands remember. Your heart remembers. And sometimes you surprise yourself. All right now, tell me in the comments, have you ever tried cooking without tasting, or would that stress you out too? If this story made you smile, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. I've got plenty more kitchen adventures coming your way, and next time I might actually taste the food, or maybe not.